Today we're going to do something special for you guys. I'm actually going to go ahead and do a 2-hour demonstration of painting the portrait in pastel. It's going to be done in alla prima, which means, I think it means like one time in Italian or something, but basically there's no glazing, there's no underpainting, it's just straight on. I was taught this at the National Academy School of Fine Arts, but now I paint more in glazes. So this is something a little bit different, and I hope that it becomes something that you can use as a learning tool. And please let me know what you think. It's a 2-hour session, but I condensed it, so I tried to get rid of a lot of things that were unnecessary. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll talk to you soon. So here we start with a basic drawing, very lightly, just putting in the measurements and some of the really subtle contours, making sure that's all done. In the beginning, I'm just laying in a light flesh type color, sort of a mid-tone, giving an overall ground, so to speak, sort of a light undercoat of color where other color will go on top. Here I'm using a dark red for the shadow planes, and making sure I'm trying to get as close to the shapes as possible. The shapes meaning its shape itself, but how it relates to the value next to it. And now I'm doing the mid-tone, which is in between the light and the dark, which in this painting is almost like a rose color. There you see, and trying to add some detail, refining the shapes. That's what you want to do. You want to keep refining, as if it's a large block of clay. What you're doing, same as painting, is slowly but surely everything is starting to evolve. Everything is beginning to become more refined. See how I reshape the contours? And you'll do that a few times in this alla prima method. There we go, trying to establish the planes of the head. There we go. Refining some more. And as you notice, it in the beginning stages is probably the scariest stages, because it really looks like nothing, and that's you just gotta wait for it to cook. Like anything else, if you're making chocolate cake, you're not gonna taste it before it's done. And the same thing with a portrait in pastel. It's gonna look pretty crazy at this stage, but keep at it. And here I'm just blocking in the hair. And notice I haven't really blended in any of the colors. With the alla prima method, you do that a little bit down the line. There you go. That's blending it in. And you see it's starting to have some of the translucency in the shadows. Have some of the lights in the shadows, not straight black. And if you notice, always look for gray in a portrait, in flesh for that matter. Saturation is very limited in nature, meaning there isn't really many bright oranges and reds normally in the human flesh, that's for sure. Still evolving, still bringing it together. There I am, starting to shape the hair from its large mass color, giving it that softness that it has. If you notice, lots of gray in flesh. It's very interesting, isn't it? You wouldn't think of it. Our subconscious almost wouldn't allow us to think of gray in flesh. A great artist to look at is William Bouguereau, French 19th century academic painter. If you ever have the opportunity to see one of his paintings at a museum, please do. You will see that Most of his paintings look so realistic, but when you see them up close, they're mostly gray. Close observation. That's what it is. And you notice the lots of gray in the face. And I'm basically just watching the model. I'm basically just paying attention, looking long. It's very important to really study before you make any marks on the paper or board. And using my finger. Now I don't paint this way for my paintings. I'm just doing this to show you guys some of the methods, some of the ways. And I went to black and white here because I wanted to show you about values. If you notice, the values are, looks like a black and white television. And that's what you want. You want to have a full range of values. You'll see you have your lights, your darks, and your midtones. There we are, back in color. You can't really see values as clearly in color as you can in black and white. See, just refining, putting lights in the darks. Lights in the darks meaning there really are not many true shadows. There's always light reflected from somewhere, given color within that area. And here I am.
So Tim, what's the definition of an artist?
The definition of an artist is someone who sees behind the surface or under the surface. But I think the artist has to be a little bit naked in their work. Reckless abandon. True dreams are realized by the unreasonable man or woman. I think if an artist is going to be worth their weight, they're going to have to have the art market come their way. Like the song by Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way?